first I would just like to say that, cheating is not something that, a married man or a married woman just woke up one day and say, oh, you know what, today I'm gonna cheat. I'm gonna look for a woman whom I'm gonna sleep with just so that I can hide it, because I know that if my wife finds out, she's gonna be grieved and she might even divorce me. You see? So it's not something that just happens, that you don't plan. Something happens in the marriage, or something does not happen in the marriage, that leads to cheating. But I just want to focus on how married people create an environment for them to cheat. The first thing that married couples do, which create an environment for them to cheat, is having friends of the opposite sex. For me, I mean, like, if we were even to think, anyone who was to think logically and critically would ask themselves, why would a married man need a female friend? I mean, what is it that this female friend is gonna do in this man's life, which the wife cannot do? Because you have to ask yourself as a man, as a married man, and say, what is it that this female friend of mine does in my life that my wife cannot do? I mean, you may say that, maybe because she understands you. No, she doesn't understand you. It's just that, you are always gonna tell her the niggling issues in your marriage. And because that's the only part that she gets to know about you. That's why she's able to help you. And the only reason why she always responds positively, on your side, meaning that she's always on your side, not on the side of your wife, is because she's not part of it. So she doesn't have anything to lose, and she's not the one who was involved in the problem that she may, get hurt. So she's just gonna support you because of a friend, because she's your friend. That's what I'm trying to say. You see, what is it that this female friend of yours is doing in your life that your wife cannot do, or your mother cannot do, if you're looking for female perspective, or your mother-in-law cannot do? I mean, like, if you have problems with your wife and you want a female perspective, you can speak to her mother. Think about it. Your mother-in-law will never advise you in a way that is gonna end up hurting her own daughter. So you're going to the right person. And if you have a female friend who maybe just want to do something with you, she may advise you in such a way that you fall in her arms. And in the end, you may end up having an affair. And because, one of the problems is that, because when you're a married man and then you always have a female friend who's always available to speak to you, to text you, to do all these things, which maybe if you're having problems with your wife, she's available to do. It's like she becomes some kind of an outlet. She becomes some kind of a pressure release. And because of that, you may get emotionally attached to her because of the role that she's playing in your life every time you need somebody who's female to help you with your problem. And this emotional attachment becomes an emotional affair. An emotional affair will lead to a sexual affair. You see that? So by having a female friend as a man who's married, you're creating an environment conducive to cheating. Because I'll give you an example. If maybe you're having problems with your wife that has led to both of you no longer having sex, and you desire to have sex, and then likewise, you're gonna tell her that, me and my wife, this past few weeks or this past few months, we haven't really been making love. And then if she, because she's your friend, because remember, when you have a female friend who's not married, she may also desire to have sex. But because there's no one, she can't just go and throw herself at the man. She would want somebody that she knows. And that person that she knows is you. And because she wants sex, well, that means the stage is set. You see the danger in that. And the reason why you may think that you need a female friend is because sometimes, when a man is married and he's been married for years, he may feel like, wow, maybe he doesn't got it anymore. He's just old. But when you have a female friend who's always saying you're a good man and all that, she boosts your ego. That's why you need her. So you need her to boost your ego. You don't really need her to do anything else except to boost your ego. That you're still the man, and you're still valuable to other females outside of your wife. Do you see that? But all this is not useful to you in any way, because there's nothing that this female friend of yours, which she does, which your wife cannot do. If whatever she does, which you think you need her to do, you can just tell your wife to do it and she'll do it. Out of love, she'll do it for you. But the problem is that you're a man, so you want this thing that you're still the man. And that's a problem, because how many times have you heard where the husband has always ended up having an affair with his friend who's female? How many times have you had that? Well, because the thing is that because you're open to be in spaces where it's just the two of you, you think that, well, she's a friend, nothing can happen. And one day, because sometimes people like to hug and you like hugging her and laugh. One day you hug her and you feel something, and when you look at her, you realize that she felt the same thing. Why? Because at the end, a hug between a male and a female will always be a hug between a male and female. You cannot decide and say, well, when I hug my wife, I'm going to feel like this. And when I hug my friend, You don't decide that. The brain merely interprets a hug as a touch between a male and a female. And these touches can lead to sexual feelings, and sexual feelings can lead to sex. And before you know it, you're finished, you've done the deed, and now you have slept with her, and you probably have enjoyed it. Not because she's better than your wife, not because she's new. You've never done this with her before. And then you may do it over and over again until the point now you feel guilty, but you have to hide it. Now you feel guilty because you're hiding a huge secret from your wife, and then you can't break away from your friend because your wife is going to ask, where's your friend? So now you're caught in between. But it is because it is you who has created this environment for you to have this affair, for you to cheat on your wife, for you to keep this secret, which is now eating at you. But if you didn't have a female friend, you wouldn't have such problems. Do you see? So the environment for cheating is created by married people. Because it's very unlikely that you can just go to the mall and say, oh, I like that girl, I'm going to cheat on her. I'm going to cheat on my wife with her. No, you're not going to do that. It will be somebody that you know. It will be somebody that you've been speaking to for a while. Or it will be someone that you haven't known for a while, but because you have spoken to that person for some time. Maybe you go to the mall and you speak, and then you end up asking about how you are and all that. The minute when you're a man, and when you're a married man, the minute you start laughing with a female, those are just telltale signs that this is dangerous. You shouldn't be laughing out loud with a female and having fun with a female while you're a married man. Fun for a married man should be with his wife. Laughing out loud, ha 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 ha, that should be reserved only for your wife. Because where you're happy, that's where you're gonna go over and over again. And if a female makes you happy as a married man, you're gonna keep going back over and over again. And because you keep going back there over and over again, you may be open to do other things which you're not supposed to do. You can think that, no, I will never do that. Well, the thing is that you're thinking that you will never do that because she has never done anything that may tempt you or that may seduce you into doing something like that. And it's gonna be very difficult when she just opens up and say, do you like, and say, oh, go away. It's gonna be very difficult. Don't say you're gonna control yourself because you have never been in that situation before. You see, when we pray, we like to say, as Christians, we like to say to God that God not lead us into temptation. So we are literally asking God not to put us in a situation where we'll be tempted to sin against him. So when you're a husband, that line of prayer must be very important to you. You must be asking God not to put you in a situation where you may cheat on your wife. And a situation which may make you cheat on your wife is a situation when you have a female friend. Because when you have a female friend, when you're married man, you cannot say, no, I cannot go and sit with you at the restaurant. I cannot go and watch a football game with you. I cannot go and, you cannot do this thing, say I cannot do this, I cannot, because you just think she's your friend, just like your guy friends. You just open up to her like you open up to your guy friends. And because of the way, maybe the way that she dresses, sometimes you see something that you're not supposed to see on another woman, and you see and you like and you want to touch and you want to do, and that's how you've created an environment for yourself to cheat. You see, when you don't want to do something, you must push away the things which may lead you to that thing. When you don't want to do something to hurt your wife, you must push away everything that may enable you to hurt your wife by cheating on her. The same thing with women. You know, the way that women dress, especially these days, because these days we live in a day where beauty is confused for sensual, beauty is confused for sexy. Where women will always be revealing their cleavage, will always be revealing their stomachs, always be revealing their thighs. Well, of course, it's the modern way of dressing, so they feel that they're free to dress the way that they want. And any male who has a problem with that, he is the problem. It's not the woman dressing like that. No, he is the problem. So when a woman is married but dresses in such a way that is provocative because she is free, because the husband does not have any problem with that, it can create an environment in which she may be liable to cheating on her husband. The reason why she thinks that she won't cheat on her husband because of the way she dresses is because she does not think that she could be tempted, into cheating. Not that a man is going to throw himself at her because she's dressed in a provocative manner. No, if a man makes an offer to her and say that, you are so beautiful and hot, if I can have you for one night only, here is 50,000. Well, you can say that. Well, I'm not a gold digger. I'm not a prostitute. I'll never. Well, the thing is that it has never happened. You see, because the thing about women is that women love compliments. They love to be complimented in the way that they look. So when let's say, for example, let me give you an example. Let's say, even in a way that is provocative, in a way that you have been dressing for years, maybe your husband has not been, overly attractive. I mean, attracted to you, or overly, desiring to make love to you for a week or so. But even though you dress the way that you dress, your husband, because no matter how beautiful a person is, no matter how sexy a person is, to the husband and wife, sometimes the thing just becomes common. You see, so let's just say your husband is not being overly passionate towards you, and then you're walking out in the way. This is not that just because your husband is not being overly passionate with you, now you want to have an affair. No, you don't even want to have an affair. You're fine. You're happy. You know that your husband loves you, and you have no great complaints about your husband not being passionate towards you. But you desire that he was, but he's not. So you dress in a provocative manner, and then down the street, probably someone younger, someone even more handsome than your wife. This is not to say that you're gonna love him because he's more handsome or younger or richer. No, it's just that that's how temptation will always come in the most minimal things that your husband may lack in. Not that that man who has these minimal things is better than your husband. No, it's just those minimal things that will enable you, that will create an environment for you to have an affair, an environment for you to cheat on your husband. You see, so someone just says, "Wow, you are so beautiful. I've never seen a beautiful woman like you." It doesn't matter whether he's lying or what. The thing is that he's telling you something that you will love to hear, something that you will like to hear. And guess what? He doesn't even just tell you that you are beautiful. He tells you that if you were his wife, he was gonna make love to you every day, every night, multiple times. When you look at him, he's a hunk. He's got all the weapons to do the things that he says that he can do. And in deep down in the back of your mind, you're thinking that your husband has not told you that. Probably your husband has never even told you that. But this man is telling you that. So this man is telling you that when he looks at you, he thinks that there's no any other woman in the world who's better than you. And your husband has not told you that. You see? Now the problem comes. Now, Remember, the mind will always try to think about what is best, what is better. Think, wow, this man is good. I mean, like my husband's never even told me that, and he thinks that he can do this sex thing every day, every night, multiple times. And now you are tempted, you know, you are tempted to give him the opportunity to do what he says he can do. Why? Because you have not been passionately designed by your husband for a while now. And because of the provocative way in which you are dressed, you know, a man is saying these things, and he's saying because of the provocative way in which, because when he's saying you're beautiful, he doesn't mean that you're beautiful, he's meaning you're sexy. And sexy, has sex in it. You add a Y, you get sexy. So that means he's thinking about sex. And while you're still contemplating whether can he really do what he's saying he can do, because you have two kids, you know, and you're thinking, you can see that he's very young. I mean, like a young man like him attracted to you, then you feel like young, you feel like you're 16, 17, 18 years again. You see, so you're tempted to want to give him an opportunity to do what he says he wants to do or he can do. When you're still thinking about whether to do it or not to do it, thinking you're married, you have kids and all that, he's saying, well, you know what? Don't even worry about that. Let's just, one weekend, let's just go somewhere. We don't have to do anything that you don't want to do. You know, I got the money, I have everything. Let's just go. Let's just, go and have fun as friends. That's how most affairs starts, as friends. Because how can someone be your friend if you've just met them, but they're already telling you that you are their friend? But because all this thing is stroking your ego, all this thing is telling you that you're still sexy. You have two kids, but you're still sexy. Look at this young man who's 22, 23 years old, is still attracted to you. That means you're still attracted. That means the problem is with your husband. I'm not saying the problem is not with your husband. Maybe yes, the problem is with your husband, that he hasn't been passionately desiring you, and then now you're looking for a young boy to tell you that you're sexy. But the thing is that you have created an environment for him to say that. You see, so now you have to find a way to make an excuse to your husband that you're going somewhere just so you can go out with a 23-year-old who's saying that he's your friend, and who's saying that you don't have to do anything that you don't want to do, who's saying that he's not even thinking about sex, even though he has told you that he can have sex with you over and over again for nights and days, multiple times, and in fact, deep down, you're hoping that he wants to do it. Because that's what you want. You want to feel this power of a man, in you. So you have created this environment. Not that you intentionally did it. You were just dressing the way that you normally dress. And in the end, you end up going there, and then he takes you in his car, he does all this thing, and then he leaves, never calls you again. Or he keeps calling you again, and then now so whatever the case, whether he doesn't call you, you cheated on your husband. Whether he keeps calling you, will continue cheating on your husband. And now you have to live with the fact that you have to hide a secret from your husband because you've cheated on him. Why? Because you have created the environment. It's very easy. A married woman and a married man must create this thing that they are not available, in the way that they dress, in the way that they speak to people, in the language that they use. Immediately when a man starts speaking language that, has signs of sex in it, you just say, whoa, I'm married, I don't really want to go in there, and you leave. The same thing with a man. The minute a woman, a female, start to be too friendly with you in such a way that they want to do something that is out of the ordinary in terms of a man and a woman, you say, I'm married, please, and you leave. That's how marriages could be saved. When men are just presenting this image that I'm married, I'm happy, I'm taken. The same thing women saying, I'm married, I'm happily married. Despite what is going on in the marriage, because every relationship can have problems. Friends have problems. Families have problems. But you can't break away from your family just because you have problems. You can't break away from your friends just because you have problems. But why is it when it comes to married, people want to move away? Because it's a relationship also. You see, so you cannot dress in a provocative manner, not really, and not agree that you're creating an environment for men to come after you, and you believe that you cannot say no to them. Some men will come in such a way that you may not be able to say no, because man can offer you money, man can, can say things that your husband have never said, and then you can get tempted to give this man a chance to do what he says he's gonna do. And women also, it's like you have to present an image of a married man. I'm not saying dress. Look, I'm the kind of man who likes to look good when I dress. I like to do that, So, but still, in the way, in the way that you look good, in the way that you look handsome and well dressed, and you know, and sexy and all that, it must still be saying that I'm married. In the way that you're gonna speak to people, because obviously when you look good, people are gonna be attracted. But it is this thing that you're gonna say. The minute the woman starts using a language of girlfriend thing, you start to talk about your wife. You say, "Oh, my wife must be looking for me now. I've been out for her." So you're telling her the message without, pushing away in a violent manner. So the same thing with women. They must just have an image that I'm married. And that's all that I have to say about this topic. How spouses create an environment for them to cheat. And if you have anything to say about this topic, you can just leave your comment below. And if you like receiving content like this, you can subscribe to my channel so you can receive content like this. Thank you for listening.